Blizzard wanted more than a 50-50 split of the revenue share, which is outside of, according to those who are analysts in the video game market for China, that's outside of the scope of basically the majority of or all of the gaming deals that currently exist in China. Nobody's really pulling more than a 50-50 split within the Chinese market that are doing deals like Blizzard's doing here with NetEase. But Blizzard wanted more than 50-50. They also wanted NetEase to produce mobile games of all of their IPs and not just them having worked on Diablo Immortal. They wanted all that shit. They wanted mobile up the ass, which we already knew was a thing that they were working to accomplish, but this was part of the new deal. They said, look, you guys have a massive mobile market. The Chinese mobile game market is orders of magnitude greater than the West. You could put Europe and North America together, and it is a shit stain on the underwear of the Chinese mobile development and game market. And so they said, we want all that shit. We get as much on there as you can. And then on top of that, we want you to make all those games, sell them in your region, but we only want to give you that revenue share for all things sold within mainland China. And everything outside of mainland China, we want it all. Give it all over to us. And then to add on top of that, they also wanted NetEase to give up all of the data for all of the players in mainland China for evidently $0.00. Just give us the data. And so after all of that, and what the uppers at NetEase described as the relationship falling apart because of a jerk who remained unnamed, so I don't know who was doing the negotiating for Blizzard, Activision Blizzard at the time. They were called a jerk, I guess. So between these asks, which I'm not gonna lie, some of this sounds pretty fucking spicy. And the fact that the person doing the negotiating was a bit of a dick, NetEase said, not worth the trouble. You can now leave China. Thank you very much. Goodbye. And so in January, Overwatch and other Blizzard services will cease to operate within the region entirely. And they are, apparently NetEase is trying to come up with some method of, I guess, refunding unused stuff that was purchased and whatnot, trying to come up with some method of doing that. But to the degree of which that happens, I don't know yet. I haven't been able to see the specificity in which all of that will play out. I would assume Blizzard is now going to actively seek out another major publisher in the region to take over for NetEase. But if you've pissed off one, the odds of you walking into that room on the negotiation table and getting a more favorable deal, or even getting close to the deal that you tried to get at the first one, probably pretty slim. I mean, you would know this, Mr. Black, if anyone's talking with somebody that you were trying to negotiate with and somebody fumbled that shit, that's powerful fucking leverage when they go to the next table. You can't just walk in and drop the same deal on the table and say, hey, will you take this? And so they sit across and say, no, we already heard about this shit. This is not going to happen here either. Sorry. And I can only imagine in China, where the market is controlled by a very small number of massive government-tied companies, it's even harder to try and pull over any kind of crazy deal. So I don't know. It'll be very intriguing what the near future of Blizzard and Activision games will be in that region. But that's not a region you want to lose access to, Mr. Black. It's a big fucking region.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're fucked. They fucked up. They're fucked. And like the thing is China don't give a fuck.
They truly do not care.
China actually doesn't give a fuck. Like that's the thing. Like you can't buy China. You can't you can't bully China. You can't buy China. You can't even talk shit about China. Like if they found out that like a Blizzard employee talked bad about China 25 years ago.
Game over.
Game over. Like they don't give a fuck. It's like that in the movie business. Like pretty much all Marvel movies now aren't in China. They just don't get released anymore. China's like, no, you're done. It's over.
What was the catalyst for that? Do you know which movie it was that fucked that up?
The last thing that I heard was the main actor from Shang-Chi pretty much called China a communist country, like made some sort of comment.
I
And
mean, that's not an incorrect statement, but still not
No.
one that they want to hear.
correct. And he's he's of China. I do believe he's of Chinese descent.
He is. He's Canadian.
Canadian.
Yeah.
So I think he has family like that came from China.
Yeah.
And so he was speaking of this was like earlier in his career too. This wasn't even like
Oh, so
this was like he talked about this like years ago, and he became the star of a Marvel movie, and it was Shang-Chi, like should absolutely be massive in China, right? With a Chinese lead actor.
You would think.
But he said one thing about China, and they're like, guess what? No. Oh, and all of your other movies? No. Also with China too is there's a lot like, Disney is all about inclusion and, same-sex relationships and pushing.
Well, they're a Western company, so like the Western ideals or values gets put into their shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and China's like, no, none of this. You don't show this to our people. Like they're just not having it. So like I think it's a combination of like, Western ideologies, and then if you say anything bad about China, they don't care. Like you can't. Like they're like, oh, I don't, if this movie's gonna make China $1 billion, we don't care. It's not coming here. It's gonna be the same thing with this. If somebody said the wrong thing, did the wrong thing, smited them in the wrong way, they'll literally be like, Blizzard, you're done, bro. It's over. You ain't coming here. You ain't coming back. So they better hope it wasn't anything too dramatic, because China don't give a fuck.
You know what? That has to be a nightmare to try and navigate those waters for pretty much everyone involved, because imagine how much stress anyone at any level of the deal, so if it was the movie industry, from the actors all the way up to the fucking heads of the production companies or whoever is signing the papers to pay for the fucking films, everyone is basically on edge trying to be like, all right, nobody fucking slip up and say some stupid shit about China. We can't do it. Even if we agree with you, if we are going to stay in there, we have to fucking, this is what we have to do. Because it's true, it's not that anything that he likely said was incorrect, but they just don't want to hear it. And they have the power in terms of they don't need the market. They have more than enough people to be happy to close out other markets. They'll just fuck you up and kick you out.
Black Adam 2 not going in China. Black Adam not in China. Black Panther 2 not in China. They're done. Like they don't care. They're like nope. And these movies, like I do believe in Black Adam, there is one scene in China. There is like a scene because they want, and The Rock is relatively like celebrated in China. Like he's a big known figure. But it's not even just the star. It's like it's the movie itself. What is the message? What kind of characters are in there? What are you like? You because the way they look at it is they don't want to. I mean, this is going to be harsh words to use, but they don't want to infect their culture with westernized ideologies that hurt the foundation or the fundamentals, or I guess of their own ideology. Whether you side with them or not, I mean that's just it doesn't really matter.
That's why they're doing it.
Country. That's why they're doing it. Oh, 100%. That's why they're doing it. They can censor. That's why they have such huge censorship, like on their internet, everything. Like they don't want their people seeing certain shit. They don't want them thinking a certain way. They don't want them. You got to follow suit. So. And as soon as you break that tie, man, I'm not sure what you got to do to get back in good graces, but this doesn't sound good for Blizzard.
Bro, when you look at a country that is willing to install hundreds of millions of cameras to keep tabs on everybody inside, you got to understand you're playing with a different animal. Ain't like
bro, they just kill people. They'll literally kill. You fuck around, you're gonna find out in China. Straight up.
It's just you can't. It's not the same thing. So yeah, it's a very challenging thing. Which is why it will make this all the more interesting as to how this goes down. It would be supremely ironic or even almost comedic to me that if it was Bobby Kotick at the table that was doing the negotiating. I honestly can't even think of who else.
Be, no.
The top guy who else would do it.
Top guy at the top ain't doing no. My
you don't
guess
think Bobby would want to be at the table for the Chinese deal?
Well, I think he would be in the no. But I don't think he's the one that's going to China.
He doesn't want to take that heat, so he sends like the next guy right below him. And like I don't think, like the COO, like an operations officer or some shit.
Somebody that they pay a large amount of money to do these things. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe Bobby got on the phone when shit was going sideways, and then he ran his mouth or whatever, right?
We'll never fucking know. But it kind of sucks for Microsoft that in the 11th hour, while they're trying to get this thing, and their primary thing is mobile games, that they lose China in this fucking deal. Maybe Microsoft will have to go in and be like, hey, look, that was the old guys. We're the new guys. All right, you gotta we gotta get to the negotiation table. But yeah, we'll wait and see just how that all pans out. Whoever does it, it's not going to be easy, and it will not be a favorable deal. Almost guaranteed. That's going to be a very difficult task to put in front of them.